Yeah, I'd be interested because I love the concept.
You love a concept. That's great. All right, so I have a 75-meter dipole, which is 14-gauge stranded wire with a black shield so nobody can see it, or even with people with real eyes can't hardly see it. I use from the back of my 2060 Heathkit antenna tuner, and it's about 120 feet of it, 14-gauge twin lead. I call it twin lead. I don't know what window whatever is. I don't know what those country boys are talking about. But mine is 14-gauge stranded copper, and it works. Over.
Roger that. No, I figured, and I take what they say with a grain of salt, right? I mean, you have to. You know, God love them, but you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. So, no, I totally understand. I to find a way to get it to play around with it.
Well, send me an email so I can remember to do this tomorrow. And I know I've got it in there, this address still. I stumbled over it. Now, I haven't bought any twin lead from them since, I think, year 2000. You know, you could Google it up, DuckDuckGo it up. But there are places that'll, you want to buy more than you need. Like I bought 200 feet. I've got enough for a lifetime. Because the antenna you put up will not be your last antenna. Over.
I can imagine. No, it wouldn't. And I'm imagining that I could, you know, make these. I'd like to be able to make it, you know, whatever antenna. And my goal is, I mean, obviously I want to have, you know, the stuff I used to operate on, but it would be nice to say, yeah, I'm gonna make an antenna and run it up. Because I'd like to have the experience to build one of these things and just see what happens with it.
Well, I'll tell you what to do. Okay, I'm using a 75-meter dipole. Just for an example, remember the numbers 468 divided by F equals 1/2 lambda. You can say lambda and then you can, you know, impress everybody. Lambda is wavelength, so that's a half a wavelength. So, 3.9 or 468 divided by 3.9 equals 120 feet. So that's 2/4 waves, divide 120 feet by 2, and that's 60 feet per leg for a 75-meter dipole. You want to make it a little bit longer, in my opinion. I use my 75-meter dipole, and I can load up using the antenna tuner on 160 through 6 meters. And I'll bet you can do the same thing with the Dentron Super Tuner, but you just don't want. Oh, I've got more information about the Dentron Super Tuner too, and you're not going to hear much on that Traders Net anyway. Do you have time to hear more? Over.
AI5A coming.
I don't know who that was, but OS, you have time to hear more?
AI5PZN. Sorry, guys. We're about to start the weekend wind down net here at 7:30.
So, all out, you're supposed to ask permission to start a net. Did you know that?
Sir, we have it already registered.
Yeah. Oh, Wes, I'll talk to you later, and I can tell you more about the Dentron Super Tuner that would be useful to you, and I'll get you an address of the place to order the twin lead, and that's it. Hasta la chingao, WB5TXW.
Ready. We'll catch you later, George. I'll send you an email. AI5OS.
Good evening, ham radio operators. Welcome to the Weekend Wind Down Net. This is Ernesto, KI5PZN, using the 224.100 repeater, tone 100.
And this is Mireya, KI5SYX, using the 441.325 repeater, tone 97.4. And we'll be your net controllers for this evening.
This net is also linked to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. If you're listening through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. You can also reach us via Echolink by connecting to KI5D-R or N5OAK-R. For All-Star access, use node 409er33 or 51444.
The Weekend Wind Down is a RadioNet. We get together on Sunday nights to talk about the weekend. It's likely that most of us look forward to the 2 days out of the week when we can actually spend time doing things we like, relaxing or spending time with others. Did you work on a project? Did you have a barbecue, watch a movie? Or were you stuck catching up on chores? Ham-related or not, was your weekend a blast or bust?
Please note this is a directed net, so please refer all calls to net control. We will not have any scheduled pauses for emergency traffic, but we will yield the air to any breaking emergency. With that in mind, please leave room between check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. We're using the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. Big thanks to Kyle, KA5D, and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club for letting us use their repeaters for this net. Please visit the University Link repeater system's website to learn more. That's ka5d.com. To learn more about the Oak Hill Radio Club, including how to become a member, go to n5oak.org. Before we get started with the net, I'm going to read you a list of the local nets so you can stay radioactive throughout the week. We started on Monday with the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Mondays, hosted by Rick, AI5A. That's on the 50.125 megahertz frequency upper sideband at 8 p.m. On Tuesday, the Oak Hill Southside Simplex, hosted by Ray, K5BZI, on the 146.555 megahertz frequency, FM, at 8 p.m. Also at 8 p.m., we have the DMR Soundcheck Net, hosted by George, W5JDX, and Tommy, and 5ZNO, on the 441.300 megahertz repeater. That's the DMR machine at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays, the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net, hosted during the summer break by Ernesto, KI5PZN, and Kyle, KA5D. That's on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. On Thursday at 7:30 p.m., the Oak Hill CWNet, hosted by Pat, W5W at 532 megahertz frequency at 8 p.m. on Thursday, the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net, hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. On Friday at 9 p.m., the Oak Hill Friday Night Trivia Net, hosted by Rusty, WZ5BBS. That's on the N5OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 9 p.m. On Saturday at 7 p.m., the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's Net, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW. That's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 9 p.m., the 220 megahertz Guys Original Preservation Net, hosted by Steve, KB9DSQ, on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. Sundays, we start at 3 p.m. with the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter net, hosted by Rod, W5NDS. That's on the 28.410 megahertz frequency at 3 p.m. At 7 p.m., the Travis County Aries Weekly Net. That's on the 147.360 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. At 7:30, this one, the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, and Mireya, KI5SYX, on the University Link repeater system and the N5OAK repeater system, again at 7:30 p.m. And at 9 p.m., the Austin Amateur Radio Club SwapNet, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW. That's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. All right, let me do a station ID. This is the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224.100 repeater, tone 100.
And Mireya, KI5SYX, from the 441.325 repeater, tone 97.4. On Sunday nights at 7:30 via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system.
So, Mireya, this net is called the Weekend Wind Down for a reason. How was your weekend?
Hey, Ernesto. Well, I'm going to cheat a tiny bit because I actually had an amazing weekend. But it was a week ago, so we didn't run the net last week because we were on vacation. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. That was my blast of a weekend. We were in Maui. I'd never been, but we were invited to a 10-year anniversary get-together, and so, of course, we are going to go. And the resort we were invited to be at was wonderful. Stayed on the 21st floor. Amazing view of the ocean. And, of course, we walked the beaches and collected wonderful, wonderful treasures from the sea. I don't know if anybody out there collects natural things from their outings wherever they go, but I'm the one that's going to be collecting the sand samples and the rock samples, and in this case, definitely the coral samples and the shells. So that was what I was doing last weekend. And the highlight was spending time with my nephew, splashing in the waves, and experiencing his first water slide. On the culinary side of our adventure, we tried the famous poke dish, which is basically just chunks of raw fish. And it's a thing over there. It's over rice, but it was very good. It was very cool and refreshing and a little bit soft. So, of course, the raw fish is going to be soft, and but it was good. The first night we were there, I tried for the first time swordfish. I'd never tried that before, but my favorite part of that dish was that it was completely smothered in butter lobster sauce. And we are talking about the drinks on the island. Well, the famous drink are the Mai Tais. I'm not a fan. Very sweet. If you're into sweet drinks, maybe you'll like the Mai Tai, but I didn't, so I stuck to my drinks that I drink in Austin, all tequila-based. We also saw a luau. I don't know if anybody's been on a luau before, but it's what you expect. It's fire dancing and Hawaiian dancers and beautiful ladies in scantily clothes. It was very nice. A little bit touristy for us. We're more of a rugged outing kind of couple, but it was great for being in Maui. And let me tell you, the island, of course, is gorgeous, beautiful, dewy. Everything's wet and green. And very, very clean. Let me tell you, no trash on the side of the roads. You're thinking you're driving down there. You see a cup here and there or plastic bag here and there. None of that. These Hawaiians, the Maui residents, are very zealous about their environment, and it shows. And I know that people here don't experience this, but you're driving down the road or walking down the street, and you can eat. So there's papayas growing on a random tree on the side of the road, mangoes. So on the culinary side, I think that you'd have a very positive experience if you were in Maui. And we also saw a lot of surfers. So surfing was a big deal over there because apparently one of the big news that was happening in Maui when we were there was that the king tide came in. And so there's a bunch of huge waves. All the surfers from around the world are going to Maui right now because that big king surf is bringing those huge, gnarly waves. On a final note, if you are traveling to Maui, it is not for the faint of heart. So FYI. From door to door, our door here in Austin to the door in the resort in Maui, a full 16 hours, man. 16 hours to get from your comfort to your comfort in Maui. And then you have to stay up another 5 hours because that's how long they're behind us. So, wonderful experience. Get there, have a great time, and don't remember that you're going to have to make your trek back to Austin. This weekend was not as exciting as last weekend, and we just went to Fort Worth and helped my dad. So I wanted to share my blast of a weekend, not my bust of a weekend. So hopefully that's okay, guys. Ernesto, what about you? How was your weekend?
Hey, Mita, yeah, that sounded awesome. Obviously, I'm part of that as well. But I guess being a guy, I have the summary of the summary version of all of that. So, yeah, went to that wedding ceremony or anniversary, whatever you call that. That was fun. Have to dress up, which I normally don't do, but, you know, sometimes you have to take a shower and look presentable. Did that, bunch of surfers, yeah, that was fun, watching the surfers doing their thing. Saw a bunch of turtles going up for air, that was pretty cool as well. Let me think what else was happening there. That was the first time as well, and the part that I didn't care for that much was the, on our way back, let me let this reset. Aside from the time, I guess, hour difference from here to there, time zone, you have to stay up and do so many things. By the time I went to bed, I spent 36 hours awake, and for those of you who know me, I'm not a young guy, so that was a challenge. But I did it. I passed that. So it was fun. We had a great time over there. Food was great. And then this weekend, like they were saying, went to Fort Worth and did her thing over there, hung out with Miraia's dad, and helping with a bunch of stuff. We did the Mexican restaurant with the karaoke, which is always hilarious and fun. And it was fun. I mean, we had a great time. It was a great thing, a great weekend, both of them, I would say. We always, and this weekend we got to play the Friday Night from Fort Worth, which is always fun. Let this reset. So I would say that's what happens in the last couple of weeks here. Some things exciting, some kind of okay. But I would say both of them were good. They were a blast. I'm not gonna complain. Let me do a station ID real quick before we move to the check-ins. This is the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224-100 repeater, tone 100.
And Mireia, KI5SYX, from the 441.325 repeater, tone 97.4. On Sunday night, 7:30, University Link and Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system.
All right, well, I'm curious, and I wonder how everybody else's weekend went, so let's call for check-ins. Any licensed operator is welcome to check in. Come in now with your call sign and name.
This is WZ5 BBS, Rusty, Northwest Austin.
All right. Rusty, thank you for checking in, man. How's your weekend going? What's going on?
That was a pretty nice, lazy weekend. We had a nice fox hunt. AC5G put on, had me searching. I was driving over to a friend's house and I heard it, and so I kind of pulled out the map and I thought I knew exactly where it was, and guess what? I was wrong. So, it had me driving around a little bit, but, I missed my fox hunt, buddy, making that happen. But, it proves that I know how my gear works. So, fox hunt this weekend, got to hang out with some friends and, stayed up drinking. So, nothing fun radio-wise, but, it's always good to hang out with friends, man. So, I'm glad y'all made it back home safe from Fort Worth.
Well, awesome, dude. Where was the fog? It's already, 7:51, and it was going until 7 p.m., so I guess we're in the clear.
We are in the clear. I forget the name of the park, but it was, I got to it off of 183 in McNeil. So it's Northwest Austin, and I thought that there were a couple of parks that it was, but lo and behold, Philip found one that was up on a hill. So it had really good coverage. I could hear it for a couple, 2 or 3 miles. So it was kind of tricky. Had to take a couple of bearings, but I was in Northwest Austin, which was super cool for me because I was on 183 for about 5 minutes, and I heard the signal. So I was like, all right, well, if it's this close to the house, I have to go find it. So it was a good hunt. Maybe if Philip is listening, he can tell you exactly where it is. But yeah, Northwest Austin was this hunt.
Right on. Did you go solo, or do you have people with you?
I went solo. I think I could have gone with Steve, but by the time Steve said anything, he was already back home, and he hadn't found it. KI5 UKF. So maybe next time Steve and I can go, and we can go find the fox. Because so far, everyone that I've gone for, I've found. It might have taken 5 or 6 hours, but I've at least found it or spread it out over the course of a couple days. So I never give up on these things. But I went solo on this one, and if anybody out there is looking to go fox hunting, it's always fun to go, with somebody else that at least kind of sort of knows what they're doing.
Well, right on, dude. I'm glad that you found it. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting that fox next weekend up in Williamson County. I'm gonna be putting the map up there, but I guess I don't know if people are going to feel motivated to go up there and hunt. I'm not going to have a big map, so maybe I'll get the guys from Austin to go up there as well. But that's the plan. Hopefully everything works out, and I get to put that out there, and perhaps you can team up with the new guys. Yeah, I'll say that because the very first one that we went out for was just Mireya and myself, and that was the very first one, and we didn't find it. We were doing everything wrong. I didn't know. So it's always nice to get with someone that's done it in the past, at least once or twice, and you get the little tricks. It's not that it's rocket science, but it's just little things that makes it easier. So it's always good to get with somebody. So I hope that we get to do that for this coming weekend.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not hard, but it definitely helps to have somebody, kind of show you the ropes. So I'm always down to make that happen, and now especially that I, kind of sort of know how my stuff works, it's not so difficult. But yeah, man, it was a nice weekend and nice and relaxing. So unfortunately tomorrow's Monday and the whole thing starts over again, but that's kind of how this works.
And Rusty, I regret that I am going to know where this box is going to be placed, so I can't volunteer to be the driver. That was my favorite part, driving everybody around and letting you guys do your thing with the equipment. So not this one, but I will sign up for the next one when we don't know where the heck this box is. I will be the driver.
That was totally a fun fox hunt for sure. So yeah, we got to get Team Meresto back together for the next fox hunt we can, and go have some fun. I'm looking forward to it. WZ5VBS.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, sorry about that. I know that Paul has his ready to rock and roll. He's been testing it, so that's going to go out soon. And for that, I think we're going to have to get together with a bunch of people to try to find that one. But that will be fun. Let me send it back to you for your finals, Mr. Rusty.
Yeah, so I was talking to Jeffrey about that. He said he could hear it all over Cedar Park. So something tells me that one's going to be a tough one. Plus, just knowing Paul, he's going to be kind of fun about where he hides that thing for sure. So looking forward to it, man. Glad y'all had a good weekend. Glad you got back home from Hawaii safe. And we'll see you on the air farther down the log. WZ5BBS back to net control.
All right, Rusty, and I appreciate you calling in. Always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Does anybody else wants to check in to the Weekend Wind Down Net? If so, please call in now with your call sign and name.
This is KEG5UNK, Doug, North Austin.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike Papa Juliet, Jason and Buda.
All right. Doug and Jason, so let's go and check with Doug, KG5UNK. Doug, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Well, welcome back, you guys. Sounds like y'all had a fun time in Hawaii. The wife and I have been twice, and both times we've had a really good time, and then we had a kind of pseudo good time, and it was definitely it was worth going though. Well, I had my niece and her friend, or nieces and a friend came up, and they got a boat. I went and had lunch with them on Wednesday, and then Thursday they rented a boat, and so I got to hang out with them. Spent the day at the lake, or afternoon at the lake, and was quite surprised. I don't know what the air temperature was, that, man, when I got back up to my car, like 5 o'clock in the evening, it was, the car said it was 125. It's the hottest I've seen it in a while. And the lake's really low. So this weekend, we went and searched for the fox. We had no luck Saturday hearing it, and took a different route today, and kind of went to it, kind of figured out where it was there. It was called Mountain View Neighborhood Park. It was an interesting hunt. It took a little while to get close enough to hear it, but in the end, picked it up. So yeah, overall, man, really good weekend, and congratulations on your position as secretary of the club. KG5 UNK.
Well, awesome, Doug, and thank you. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, anything I can do to help, it's always fun. Working with the club and doing all the things that we're doing, it's a fun crowd. So I'm more than happy to help out. It sounds like your weekends were pretty awesome, man. Are you like all sunburned from being at the lake, or did you put enough sunblock?
Man, I don't know what I use, but it's funny. I mainly put it all on my shoulders and my back, and that's the only thing that got sunburned. It's kind of weird, but I'm not sure. Maybe what I was putting on wasn't sunscreen. So I got a little sting going. Not much, but 5 hours out there, it's kind of funny. I thought about that the next day.
Oh, Doug, I wonder if after a couple of beers you switch it with baby oil.
Yeah, we'll see in a few days if it. No, I got a little bit of a sting going, and that's it. So it barely burned, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Hey, Doug. So I don't remember how long it's been, but I know that there was a big drought, I say about 10 years ago, where Lake Travis was unrecognizable. So you go out there and all you see are the cliffs and the rocks, and you see the formation of the rocks with the stain of the water level where it had been. You also see a lot of the islands that you don't get to see when the lake is full. So, man, I'm sad to hear that the lake is low again. I haven't been maybe in about 3 or 4 years. We were big Lake Travis fans for many, many years, but we haven't been out there. So how low is it? Like, I don't know how you can, I guess, explain it, but what can we expect if we go out to Lake Travis after being there when it was full?
Well, let me tell you, it's so low that I don't have anything to fill in the blank. No, it's really low. The captain of the boat there said that there aren't any public boat ramps available now. Starnes Island looks to be it's right across from Emerald Point Marina. It appears to be maybe 50 feet out of the water. And he also mentioned that you can walk across most of the sometimes islands right now. You can't boat across them now, but yeah, they're not fully out, but they it sounds like they're really exposed. And there was definitely signs around. There's some marinas up on the Cypress Creek arm, and they're starting to move their docks totally away from where they normally would be, and I mean like maybe a quarter mile.
yikes, man, that sounds very unappealing, Doug, but hopefully you had some fun with some small amount of water that was out there. I feel for all those boat owners, man. You think that you have your boat out there in a beautiful oasis in Central Texas. You can go out there with your boat at any time and your boat's stuck on the dock, or you have nowhere to put your boat. I don't know. It just makes me think on that investment on the lake. But I guess people that are into buying real estate, maybe they can come buy some now because people are sad about that lake. Okay, well, I guess we'll go out there, see what conditions they are, or we wait until we have a big rain like that year where it fills up so quickly, then suddenly it was back to normal. Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, so that's they say right now the lake is 54.2 full. I just happened to look it up here, and we're approaching 600 feet. So it is dropping. Yeah, if you own a boat and you don't have it already stored on the lake, then you're probably going to be out of luck for a while. And as the Austin area goes, we do go through these droughts, and on Memorial Day weekend, we will more than likely get a flood. Now, it may not be this year, but it always seems to be we go through these types of droughts, and then Memorial Day or Memorial Day weekend, we get 18 inches in an hour, and the lake fills up overnight. KG5 UNK. Back to you guys.
Yeah, though I remember that year that Mireille was talking about. I think it went from like no water to completely full within like I think a couple of days. We have one of those monsoon rains within a couple of days, and it was just shocking to see it going. I mean, thank goodness that it went back off the levels. Let's hope that if that happens again, hopefully not that crazy, but enough and enough steady flow that we get those lakes back off, man. Dude, I appreciate you always calling in and checking in. I'm gonna throw it back at you for your final.
That's good, man. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys. It's always entertaining. KG5 UNK. See you guys later.
Hi, Doug. Thanks again. Have an awesome week. Say hi to Trina and 73 is my friend. 73. Let's move down now to Jason, KB5 MPJ. Jason, what's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Hey, Ernesto and Maria, doing pretty good. Today actually went to there's a classic video game show at the Palmer Event Center where they had a bunch of vendors with stuff for sale and exhibits and games you could play and bands playing, all kinds of stuff like that. It was actually an all-weekend thing, but I only went today. Let's see, yesterday did some stuff around the house. I went to Austin Bouldering Project. It's a big indoor rock climbing gym. Did that on Saturday, and then Friday night just hung out with some friends and ate dinner and stuff. So that was pretty much my weekend. This is KB5 MPJ.
Hey, Jason, thanks for checking in tonight. So tell everybody, what is your favorite classic on the video game that you were looking for maybe today? Did you find it? What kind of geeky things did you do at the event related to your most favorite game?
Well, I really like the early 80s, like late 70s, early 80s era of games, Atari games and stuff like that. And, so they had video game consoles with Missile Command and Centipede and Pac-Man and stuff like that. Of course, Donkey Kong, that kind of stuff. and they had a lot of stuff that was cool, but I didn't buy, like cartridges for old systems that I played when I was a kid, and things like that. So they had stuff ranging, probably up through about the, I saw some Xbox 360 stuff too, so not everything was super old, but it kind of went all the way back, like to the early 80s as far as what they had.
Yeah, that's really, I would identify with the ones that you said. Those are the ones that I know of. And so cool. I'm glad that you were able to see some of that stuff. And I'm not surprised that it's coming back. People are playing, old-time LPs. They're buying and investing in LP players. Last night we were watching an infomercial for CDs of the soul songs from the 60s and 70s, and we're like, do people have CD players? I guess people are buying that old stuff and connecting it to their new equipment with all those adapters. So I'm not surprised that they're trying to sell old school video games with the cassettes or the tapes. I wonder, is there any new technology that is adapting those old machines to new technology that you can play on your big screens?
Well, I've seen, like reproductions of the old systems. Like they have a Nintendo that looks like the old Nintendo, but it's a small version. And it just has all the games built in instead of cartridges, so it looks like a little mini one that's like a quarter of the size. And, I've seen an Atari joystick that has the games built into it, that kind of stuff where you get the same gameplay and kind of looks the same, but it's not the same system because everything is so much smaller now. It all fits like into one little controller.
Makes sense. They want to get some of that nostalgia in, but taking in consideration that they can fit everything in technology into the smallest spaces now, into the smallest chips. So makes a lot of sense. Glad you were able to experience that, your favorite games, but maybe updated. Cool. Thanks for checking in, Jason.
Jason, I have a question for you. Did you get your Lincoln back?
No, it still hasn't come back. I was hoping it would have been back, by this weekend. They told me that they were going to send it back to me, this last week. So I'm hoping it's just in transit. I think what I'm going to do is wait. If I haven't seen it by Wednesday or so, I'm going to call them again. But I'm hoping it's just taking a few days, but it's supposed to be on its way back.
Glad to hear that. At least it's coming. It's coming this way. Let me know when you receive it. I've been busy doing all kinds of stuff. I haven't been able to play a whole lot with that radio, and I know Ray is already ready to rock and roll with his. So it's just let me know once you get it back, and we'll try to do some QSOs over using those radios. Back to you.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as it comes in, I'll let you know, and I can come get the resistor. I guess I get, anytime you're available, I can just come get it or meet you somewhere. Even if the radio isn't here yet, I can go ahead and just get it, and then that way I've got it, whenever it comes in. And then, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back on it. Before I sent it in, I did make some contacts. I know it works. I made some contacts down to South America on 10 meters, so I know it should be a good performer. So I guess I can maybe hit you up on Discord or something and see when you're available. Maybe I can come and pick up that resistor.
Yeah, dude, not a problem. And if you live, I have a bunch of them here too. I gave some to Ray, so if you live closer to Ray, that probably will be easier. But if not, I'm here. You know where I live. I'm good on QRZ. I work from home, and again, I have a bunch of those guys sitting around. So either way, just let me know, and we'll make it happen, man. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, I may be closer to Ray. I can see if he's around. I'm in Buda, so yeah, I may be a little bit closer to him. But if he's not available or something, maybe I can see if you're available.
Dude, like I said, I work from home. I should be here all week and next week, hopefully, as well. So just let me know, and more than happy to hand you those guys. Like I said, I have a bunch of them, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and thanks for for offering it to me. And glad to hear you all had a good trip to Hawaii. That sounds really awesome. I went a couple weeks ago to Colorado on a big backpacking trip. And that's I missed the net a couple of times, but yeah, it sounds like that's a lot of fun. I've been to Hawaii a long time ago. I went with my parents when I was a kid, but I haven't been back since.
Well, dude, I'm glad that you got to go to Colorado and take a little bit of a break from the heat. Hawaii, beautiful. I grew up in an island in Puerto Rico, so I think that was just a one time for me, just check it from the list, because it looks pretty similar to back home, except that it just takes half of the time for me to get back home, like 4 hours, and I'm already over my parents' house. So it's a great place, man. Hawaii's really cool. Like I said, I don't think I'll go back there again, but Colorado's really awesome. I like it up there. Love the mountains and all the things that you can do outdoorsy out there. I'm glad that you got to enjoy all that and take a break from all of those things. Let me send it back to you for your final, Jason, just in case. Back to you.
Okay, well, yeah, it was good talking to y'all, and I'll go ahead and be clear and listening. I'll give it back to Net Control and see who else wants to tell us about their weekend. AB5MPJ.
Jason, thanks again for calling the net. I always appreciate when you check in, and thank you again. It's always fun. Let me do a station ID. It's been a while. This is the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, from the 224.100 repeater, tone 100.
And Mireya, KI5SYX, from the 441.325 repeater, tone 97. 0.4.
All right. So let's check in to see if anybody else wants to do a check-in. If you want to check in, please call in with your name and call sign now. All right. Nothing heard. Looks like it's time to wrap up the net.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the Weekend Wind Down Net. We hope that even if your weekend was a bust, but definitely if it was a blast, that we all keep the momentum, focus on the positive, and here's to a great start to your week.
We'd like to thank Kyle, KA5D, and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club for letting us use their repeater system. Please visit the University Link Repeater System's website to learn more. That's KA5D.com. And to learn more about the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, including how to become a member, please visit n5oak.org. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, using the 224.100 repeater.
And this is Mireya, KI5SYX, using the 441.325 repeater. And from our QTH in East Austin, 73. And thanks again for participating and listening tonight. This system is now returned to regular amateur use.
W5NDS N5TXR. W5NDS N5TXR. And nothing heard. N5TXR. AI5BZN N5TXR. And nothing heard. N5TXR.
NE5P, NE5P, AG0NY. AG0NY.